truth is, everything you do has to start with you. You can't be compassionate to other people but fail to be compassionate towards yourself. Hi, what is up, you guys? Hope you guys are good. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, what is up? Thank you so much. Anyways, so as you can see from the title, I am recommending podcasts to you guys. One thing about me, I always want to learn. I always want to challenge myself, and I want to basically grow intellectually. I don't want to consistently think the same way. I don't want to have the same mentality. We are growing, and I feel like the best thing to do for ourselves is to build a solid foundation when it comes to education. So I'm going to get right into recommending podcasts for you guys, and every other podcast that I will mention here, I will try to find a link and it will be in the description box below, or I will just basically put it on the screen right next to me just so you can see what it looks like and go search for it. The app that I use is Castbox, and the reason why I like it is because you can not only stream but you can also download. So I know other people normally use Spotify, but not all of us have basically the ability to consistently have data. We don't have that luxury. So if ever you're like me, you can always use Castbox. I'll also not link it below, but I'll just put the picture of how basically the icon of the Castbox looks. So let's get right into the video. So the first one is Bobo and Flex. And yeah, please don't say, why are you saying Bobo? Yeah, I know in South Africa, Bobo, but truth is, I respect the way people, oh my gosh. I'm sorry about that sound. Wow. Someone is literally wow. Anyways, so okay, so the first one is Bobo and Flex. One thing I will say about them is they leave you with a bone to chew on. They leave your brain thinking in a different manner. One thing I always say is, I want to look back, if ever this is January, and then if ever this is January 2021, I want to look back maybe into January 2020 and be like, this is not the way I used to think. I want to grow in terms of my mindset. And one thing I love about Bobo and Flex is that they do exactly that. They touch on everything political, social, religious, and they also basically question things. They tackle societal expectations and exactly how it affects us as individuals. I'm sorry about that. And exactly how it affects us as individuals. So I think the best way, the one thing that I like is that you basically listen to their podcast and just feel a little bit different in terms of things that you go through, and you just realize sometimes that you've got so much baggage and it's not even yours. It's things that society has implicated on or just have expected you to do, and because of that you just get to a point where you just don't know what to do anymore. So they help you declutter, and that's the best. I think so far this is one of the consistent podcasts that I actually listen to, and I feel challenges me. The second one is the MASH Startup Podcast. As much as I love to basically listen to well-established podcasts that have got everything of theirs together, I also love to basically promote and listen to podcasts that are studying up and all that. And I'm not saying the MASH Startup Podcast is it's not huge also, but it's South African based. The one thing I love about them is, okay, so this MASH Startup Podcast is basically, I think, if I'm not mistaken, from the podcast that I've listened to, every other episode is normally based on business. So I know not every person is a business person, but sometimes there's a season in your life where you want to do business, or you I don't know, but I think especially us as the youth, a lot of our thinking is very minimal. Whenever you think of business, you think of something like a warehouse, a factory, and all those things, products. But sometimes you're the product. Sometimes you're literally selling yourself. For example, if ever you want to be an influencer or basically on Instagram, that is your business. So one thing I love about the MASH Startup Podcast is that it is very relevant to our time, because it talks about things like e-commerce, and basically he interviews successful business people within South Africa. So it's nice to listen to business people from abroad, but sometimes our regulations, the concepts are not the same. So if ever, it's better to just get something based within your own country that you will understand and will be relevant to you. So I genuinely do recommend this podcast. And then the third one is therapy for Black girls. Like, I want to repeat that: therapy for Black girls. First of all, let's just like unpack that black, like that word black. One thing about Black people, a lot of us are marginalized. A lot of us basically do not have access to things like therapy. Not because, I think it's because also of the society we grew up in. A lot of our parents didn't see the need to go to therapy because a lot of the things were just like, trivial. Like, they were just like, they were mediocre. So whenever you're going through something, it's very hard for them to label it as trauma. It's just like a thing of, you went through something sharp, like, move on. We've been forced to do that. And I think it's very, very important that we declutter and we just like remove all the baggage we're carrying. And therapy for Black girls does exactly that. It helps you realize the things that society have basically made you, okay with, which are genuinely not okay. Like, it also helps you, for example, a lot of us come from toxic environments, from family to friends, from the expectations they basically bring on you, right? I think a lot of us get to that point where we're just like, what do I do now? You know what I mean? And I think this podcast genuinely does educate Black girls about things like things like setting boundaries, things like how to basically move out of toxic environments. And that is very important because genuinely not all of us also have the luxury to actually afford things like therapists or psychiatrists, all those kind of things. So it just genuinely helps also even with childhood trauma. So it helps you think in a different manner, and in a way it's therapy for us because genuinely we go through so much and we barely have people to talk to, understand our situation. So I think having a community that understands what you're going through and can help you through it is very important. Okay, then the fourth one will be Elevation with Stephen Furtick. One thing about me, child, I'm a Christian, full on, like, I'm a Christian. And I think as much as it is important to be educated, as much as it is important to be centered around basically growing, we need to grow spiritually. Whatever your spirituality is, literally, like, find what's relevant for you. If ever you basically aren't Christian, it's okay, literally. Like, spirituality is so important because you need to center yourself around something that will ground you, something that will give you value, something that will basically give you something to have faith and hope in. And I feel like as Christians, like, once God is the center of your life and everything around you will start to flourish. Everything around you will start to be better, will start to basically grow. That seed that you plant, it definitely will bring results. Sometimes, like, I just feel like a lot of us go through things in life that we can't even express to people, to our friends, to family. But when God is there, you know that he's always there to help you unpack all that. So he's there to basically, help you grow. Like, having something that will keep you grounded, consistently listening to the word, praying is very helpful. So Elevation Church, I know there's also Transformation Church. I'm not sure if ever there's a podcast, but like, I normally also listen to it on YouTube, which is by Michael Todd. Okay, then let's move on to the fifth one, Empower Her. This lady is like charismatic, like crazy, like, she is so motivational. She's motivational, that's all I can say. Motivational, inspirational. She basically will, normally her podcasts are like 15 minutes. She will motivate you to do things. She will declutter a few things for you. And I think the nicest thing about her is that it's like every day waking up and just getting a dose of your, motivation for the day, empowering girls around her, empowering you if ever you just feel down. So I definitely recommend this podcast. And then there's 6, the self-love fix. This is I think it's close to my heart, because one thing about us, especially us girls, the expectations society has brought on us, how we've been taught, is more of, we normally do things not for ourselves but to prepare for like our future husbands. Everything we do is normally centered around men, and basically how inferior a lot of them make us feel. And I think the one thing that's very important right now, especially in this time, is that we need to love ourselves. So the self-love fix gives you exactly that. It teaches you how to be compassionate. Like, it basically touches on things like being compassionate towards yourself, not neglecting yourself, self-care, literally. And I know this might sound very like everything we do is based on self-interest, but the truth is, everything you do has to start with you. You can't be compassionate to other people but fail to be compassionate towards yourself. You need to understand that you can't neglect yourself, because once you do that, everything around you, everyone around you is affected. So genuinely, if there's anything I would say is, if ever you want to skip all these, definitely go to the self-love fix, because I just think there's a lot of things that I also even realize that I'm doing for other people that I'm not doing for myself. And genuinely, I think it's very important, to just be able to reward yourself, to just love yourself, to be compassionate towards yourself, like cut yourself some slack. I'm not saying play the victim kind of game, but I'm saying also remember that you're only human. Remember that as much as you've got expectations or goals, sometimes you go through things that literally will tear you down, and you need to understand, like you need to be able to just nurture yourself, Okay, now we move on to number 7, Pip Talk Podcast. First of all, I'd like to say, go to this girl's YouTube channel and subscribe. Her name is, in fact, not girl, lady. This lady's YouTube channel and subscribe. Her name is Lee. She literally helps girls, like genuinely, I think. So basically, the Pip Talk Podcast is basically done by Lee. She gives girls especially advice, right, on things like dating, self-love, expectations, all these things. Like if you just go to her thingy, her podcast, or even her YouTube channel, you'll see that most of her things are basically based on how to grow as an individual financially, basically mentally, how to just level up, those kind of things. And I think she's very motivational. And also, one thing I love about her, as much as she gives you advice, she also dives into learning, basically. She also dives into educating herself on these things, and she doesn't just like give you whatever that comes up to her mind. I know a quote that basically says, in order to write a book, you need to be the book. So she basically doesn't give you advice based on something she doesn't know, but she gives you advice on something she's basically went through and even learned for herself, So yeah. And then number 8 is, I said what I said. I'll just say this, just go there. Just go there. It's very similar to Bobo and Flex. Just go there, because quite frankly, like I think especially as African girls, excuse the background noise, there's consistently bikes that are like, oh guys, this place, there's always bikes around. And anyways, it's very similar to Bobo and Flex. It's very similar. It's just that like us African girls relate to it more, because generally like it teaches you a lot. Genuinely it does. And then this is the last one but not the least, the BaggageReclaim Sessions. This is a lady from the UK, and as you can tell from the title, she declutters everything. And like when I say everything, I mean everything. I remember the latest podcast offers that I listened to was about like the fact that people are able to be more than just one thing. Literally, you can literally be sitting there and be thinking, is this really the Sosare that I know? She literally screamed at me, but the other day she was so loving towards me, and it's totally possible. So one thing I love about her is she's not only a huge advocate of growth, but she also helps you. She's very practical in her ways of teaching you. You know what I mean? She literally will even make examples and you'll relate. And yeah, so if ever you're a girl or a young lady that's willing to grow and just want to know more about, yourself, situations in life and how you can actually tackle them, you can go ahead and just watch this podcast or listen to this. In fact, listen to this podcast. So yeah. Okay, you guys, so we have reached the end of this video. I really enjoyed it, and thank you so much for staying till this far. I really appreciate it. Okay, so I'd love to say, if ever you guys, any of you guys actually listen to these podcasts, please do comment the name of that podcast literally on the comment section, you know, just so I know that my community is like, you know, they're there with me, you know. So I really hope that you guys enjoy these podcasts, and please do try and listen to any one of these. Obviously you're not entitled or like forced to listen to any of these, but if ever you feel like anyone relates to you or like just resonates to you, please do just, you know, plug yourself. Anyways, so as I said, this is the end of the video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Please do subscribe if you feel like you want more of this content. Like this video if ever you enjoyed listening to it, or you even, you know, just listen to these podcasts. Like the video. And also please do share to anyone that you feel like would love to also grow intellectually, you know, be challenged. Please do that. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.